When it comes to mounted bearing installation and maintenance, there are many industry myths and misconceptions. Bearings can fail for many reasons. As shown in this chart, a majority of bearing failures are related to lubrication problems and contamination. So what are these myths, and how can we resolve them? Lubrication myth number 1. Any grease will do. False! Not all types of grease are the same. Some greases are incompatible because of the different thickeners or soaps used. When two incompatible greases are mixed, they may thicken and harden or become thin and leak out of the bearing. This chart serves as a guideline for determining compatibility. Thick grease is not good for high speed. Thin grease isn't good for high load. There are special greases for high temperature, high load, slow speed, and food applications. Sealmaster and Browning bearings are lubricated with high-quality NLGI No. 2 lithium soap grease with petroleum oil. For detailed information on grease compatibility, contact the grease manufacturer. Lubrication myth number 2. Relubing once a year is enough, right? False! Relubrication is necessary to replenish grease in the bearing when the current grease breaks down or deteriorates. Pumping new grease into the bearing helps flush away contamination. Old grease is pushed out and helps keep dirt away from the seals. The frequency of relubing is dependent on the application. Relubrication intervals can vary based on load, speed temperature, or environmental conditions. Some manufacturers, such as Power Transmission Solutions, offer general relubrication recommendations, including amounts and intervals as suggested starting points. Specific applications should be monitored regularly. Lubrication myth number 3. Always relube until grease purges from the seal. False! An overfilled bearing is a potential hazard for increased operating temperatures, because the grease will trap the heat inside, and this may also cause the seal to blow out. How much grease do you apply? That depends on the application. In a heavily contaminated environment, relubing until the grease comes out of the seal is an acceptable practice, if and only if the grease is being added slowly with a light grease line pressure. Lubrication myth number 4. Just shoot the grease through the zerk. False! Before putting grease into a system, it is recommended that the maintenance personnel fully wipe the zerk and ensure the grease gun is clean. This will help prevent introducing contamination during the relubrication process. Using a zerk cap will keep contaminants out. Lubrication myth number 5. I hear a noise. It must be the bearing. Add some grease. False! If the bearing is making noise, internal damage has likely occurred. If the bearing continues to run without being replaced, more internal damage may occur to the bearing, with the potential for failure. Adding grease may provide temporary relief, but a noisy bearing should be closely monitored and replaced as quickly as possible. Or maybe the noise isn't actually the bearing. Check the drive components, loose paneling, out-of-balance equipment, or any other changes in the application. Understanding common misconceptions about bearings can help you increase uptime and get the maximum performance out of your equipment.